Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl, cardio work doctor, and I have power. So I decided to go ahead and go live. As you can see, we slapped on our little face. We did a small face beat and some red lipstick because that's expedient. But I definitely wanted to get on today for a lot of reasons. First of all, feeling really good. Second of all, there's so much going on. Um, I was like, who survives COVID? And then the next week has a unprecedented blizzard. And I can't help but think of all the people that need power, that we're losing power. Power's going down. Our grids aren't set up for the demand. And we're not cooperating. Texans are so rebellious. We're not cooperating with the power company to reduce our use of power. So, of course, they had to force us. So they're doing rolling blackouts for us. And so we're spending maybe 2 or 3 hours without power, then it comes back on. I even stopped just programming everything. Again, why bother? It may go down again. May go down during this broadcast. So if I suddenly go dark, now you know why. But I definitely wanted to come on. Thank you guys so much for all the well wishes I received after sharing my battle with COVID. And I hope that you guys followed through on some of the information I shared with you. I also hope that those of you that are getting the vaccine understand it does not stop you from catching COVID. It only applies to certain strains. We have two new strains, the one from the UK and the one from South Africa. And all the vaccination does is reduces your symptoms possibly. And you need to give it at least 2 weeks to give your body the antibodies that it needs. I also want to encourage women to understand there are research on the flu as well as other viruses and bacteria and how they impact women. And women typically, when we recover from a virus and we develop antibodies, we develop 2 times the normal or the statistical antibodies as any other gender because of progesterone and estrogen being such anti-inflammatory properties. So women, we do develop, and then I think God made our systems like that because we have to care for the children. We have to nurture the babies. So our bodies recover better and respond to developing antibodies once we've had a virus or we receive vaccinations. That's just the biochemical, physiological stuff the body goes through. So it's really important that you isolate and allow that vaccine to take effect. And don't think of it as armor, only think of it as a line of defense between you and COVID because you can still catch it and you can still catch it more than once. Okay? So that's enough about COVID. I feel like I really talked a lot about it in my last broadcast because I was just my first week of recovery and feeling good and able to talk. And I'm back. I'm feeling pretty good. Still have weird things that happen every day and still have the fatigue, but for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good. And now I'm dealing with Snowzilla. So anyway, let's talk about what I wanted to message anyone listening. And I hope you subscribe to my YouTube. And I hope if you don't subscribe to that you'll come back and watch the rebroadcast or share, like, and make sure this broadcast gets out to people. The information I'm sharing is not only from my professional perspective, my personal experience, but it's carefully researched data And it's put together in a way that I think, one, I think differently. I I question anything that makes me weak-willed. I also understand nobody's always one way anyway. I get that. And I'm also for humankind. Um, Even though I don't like people all the time, I don't like our behaviors all the time, I'm always for humankind and for the betterment of humankind. So let's talk about what my subject is today, because we're in a time period in this country where rage and angry outbursts and just unkind human behavior is acceptable. It's expected. And it started in 2016 when we elected someone that did not display societal norms as far as their behavior, their communication style. They also came to us from the reality show world, which I despise, because it shows base human behaviors. And right now in this society, besides illogical thinking, radicalized, polarized thinking, groupthink, I also believe we take everything personally. We have stopped understanding that I'm not you and you're not me. And the beauty of the human existence is that if we keep that knowledge and that understanding, we can be more well-rounded and balanced in what we think and how we behave. When we throw off everything except for our perspective and we give into our unconscious bias, which we all have, every human has them. All of us are born with an affinity for what we like and who we like, and we exclude out of our minds, if we give into our unconscious biases, the fact that other people think differently. And that's fine. It's okay. What our job is to do, see, I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what you won't do to me. Did you catch that? I can't change you. You can only change yourself. I can't make you believe something simply because I affront or confront you. I can only present my perspective and hope something about that perspective resonates with you and that you will put it into your lexicon, your thinking, how you deal with things. That keeps you well-rounded. It keeps you from becoming polarized, radicalized, rage and anger at people who aren't like you. That's where discrimination comes from. That's where hatred comes from. So let's talk about how do you not take things personally and how you avoid, you acquire some ability to take rejection or rage and turn it into self-acceptance and develop a more empathetic way of looking at people who aren't like you. That will also help you in debates where someone is strong in their opinion, you're strong in your opinion, but you guys don't necessarily come to a point where you're like this, but you don't become like this. And I think that is such an important message to discuss right now. So let's talk a little bit about this, because sometimes you don't understand what rejection really is. You don't understand that's the emotion that rises to the top right next to anger whenever your beliefs or the way you see the world is confronted. Now, I personally live my life as if one of my closest held beliefs is dead wrong. I never get to where I believe everything I think and every way I believe is right. And that is a key issue for the way we're functioning as a society in this country right now. And what the rest of the world is looking at us going, Americans are, well, we've always had a reputation across the globe of being rude and selfish. But it's now at a level where societal norms are trying to tell us that's okay. And it isn't, because that's how you implode. You have to have self behaviors and self control and the ability to empathize, even if you don't agree. We all are breathing this air on this planet, even though people may not want you breathing. If you're here, you're alive, you have a right. And your rights stop where mine begin. That is a great thing to understand when there comes to confrontation of beliefs, confrontations of behaviors and standards and conduct, is that there is a line to your rights. Your rights aren't all encompassing. They don't exist exclusive of someone else's rights. You have to pop your bubble and understand your rights stop where mine begin. So that's some basic foundational behavioral things that I think if we could get there, we could stop a lot of this radical cancel culture. And I hate cliches like that. I hate what the media does, because they try to take something and force it down your throat in sound bites that are meant to get you to a train of thought. Now, you don't always know what rejection looks like when it's coming at you, which is why anger will rise to the top, but you always know what it feels like. You will always know what it feels like to have someone completely annihilate and disregard you as a person and how you see the world, because it's not them, or it's not what they believe you should be like. And those are dangerous, society destroying beliefs and behaviors. And I don't care if you have all the money in the world and you think you can live without people that are diverse and don't think like you. You can't. You can't. Just look at the ecosystems and animals. When a certain animal is taken out of that ecosystem, look at what happens. Humans are the same. We're the same. So let's dig a little bit into understanding there's some basic things going on right now when it comes to taking things personally. Besides all the things I've talked about, a lot of times taking things personally can mean expecting to be blamed by others when you're really blaming yourself. A lot of times what you see in someone else is a deflection of what you might see in yourself. Normal human behavior again. And I'm not trying to talk psychobabble. I'm trying to get you to understand thinking that might impact your communication and maybe even open your heart up to the fact that I'm not you.